throughout the campaign, we raised concerns about the role of the DNC and sort of tipping the scales for Hillary Clinton's campaign. And I think this just validates what many of us already knew about what was happening. Certainly, we did not know there was a formal agreement for this to be going on, but we saw throughout the campaign, whether it was the debate schedule,
the joint fundraising agreement,
the joint fundraising agreement.
But you had one.
Yeah, well, we had a joint.
You just chose not to use it.
Well, we didn't use it because we didn't have donors who were going to give $365,000 to the Democratic Party. In that regard, this money that Hillary Clinton was raising was supposed to go largely to state parties and to the Democratic Party, and then never ended up there. I mean, I think there's reporting that 1% of the money ended up with state parties. Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, raised $5 million that went right to down-ballot Democrats at state, local, and federal level. So he was, in fact, helping Democrats up and down the ballot, but not funneling it through a DNC organization that was then giving the money to the Clinton campaign.
So what is your reaction then when you're reading, which as Donna Brazile writes, that this agreement specified that in exchange for raising money and investing in the DNC, Hillary Clinton would control the party's finances, strategy, and all the money raised?
Right. Well, look. It's obviously maddening, I think, for me and for millions of other people who engaged in the political process, who thought it was a fair process or supposed to be a fair process. And what we've got to do now, there is a unity reform commission that was created at the convention. It has members who are appointed by Bernie, by Hillary Clinton, and some by Tom Perez, the DNC chair. Our final meeting is at the beginning of December. We're going to vote on a number of reform proposals. And now is the time for Tom Perez and the DNC to state without reservation that they're going to support the outcome of this commission, and they're going to push the DNC to pass it in the spring, and we're going to get changes so that this never happens again.
Is Tom Perez in trouble?
I don't know. We'll see aside. Tom Perez obviously was not there when this was going on at the DNC, but there are going to be a series of reforms. And if Tom Perez steps up and pushes those reforms and advocates for them, both privately and publicly during this process, I think a lot of people will have renewed confidence in Tom Perez. If he doesn't, I think that's a terrible statement.
I think Yamiche wants to jump in here.
Yeah, sure.
My question for you, as someone who covered the campaign, one, do you think that you would have won if this wasn't set up? And two, is Bernie Sanders now at some point thinking of becoming a Democrat?
Well, okay. So let's start with number one. It is impossible, I think, to know how the outcome would have been different if it had not been tipped. If we would have had debates earlier, if we would have had more debates in more places, at times when people were actually going to watch them, if Hillary Clinton had not benefited from these financial arrangements which moved money into her campaign that she would not otherwise have been able to get.
But what does your gut tell you?
I think in many states the outcome would have been different. What was the final match? I will tell you this. If Bernie
do you think he would have won?
If Bernie Sanders had won the Democratic nomination, he would be in the White House right now, and Donald Trump would not.
And does he plan on being Democrat? Because there are a lot of Democrats that I talked to who said, well, it's the Democratic Party. Bernie never joined the Democratic Party, so it's not surprising that the Democratic Party would also favor Hillary Clinton because she was a Democrat. Does Bernie at some point want to be a Democrat?
Yamiche, at that point in the campaign, Joe Biden was still thinking about getting into the campaign. If it hadn't been for the tragic loss of his son, did Joe Biden have to run against the DNC?
Do you think he would ever become a Democrat?
Bernie Sanders is in the Democratic leadership in the Senate. He is the endorsed candidate of the Vermont Democratic Party. He's raising millions of dollars.
But he's not going to be a Democrat.
Nobody in Vermont is a registered Democrat. We don't have party registration in Vermont.
Does Bernie deserve an apology? Bernie Sanders deserve an apology?
No.
From Hillary Clinton, from Debbie Wasserman Schultz?
No. Look, I think the DNC should apologize to the millions and millions of people who put their heart and souls into the campaign on both sides, frankly. There are many people out there who campaigned for Hillary believing it was a fair process. It was not a fair process. And those people are the people that the Democratic Party has to reestablish faith with, are the people, the rank and file of this party, allied independents, and other people.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.